The following program is rated TVMA. What you're about to watch contains explicit language, adult themes, violence, and may not be suitable for viewers under 18. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. You can activate parental controls from any device by going to account settings.
Here we go, it's hardcore heaven, and Hack Myers is making his way to the ring. Hack Myers is coming to his own lately. Challenging Mikey Whipwreck for the ECW television title later this evening. So the Rebel will have to go alone against Hack Myers.
28 pounds from the last house on the left.
The last house on the left. That's the one you don't let your kids go trick-or-treating to, you know what I mean?
From the rock and roll capital of the world, he weighs 251 pounds. The Ayatollah of rock and roll, the Rocky Rebel!
And as usual, the Rebel receiving a resounding round of boos here in the ECW arena. Here we go, Hack Myers and the Rockin' Rebel. These two had a falling out about a month ago at the ECW Heatwave 94. And Hack Myers taking early advantage on the Rockin' Rebel. Hack Myers the decided underdog in this matchup, without a doubt. Well, we've seen this before. Hack Myers drops the leg across the back of the head of the Rockin' Rebel. The Rebel had nowhere to go. His throat was draped across the bottom rope. The Rebel shot in by Hack Myers. Sends his head too soon. Neckbreaker by the Rockin' Rebel. The Rebel now with Hack Myers. Chopping him in the chest. Ask the fans one more. Yeah, sure they want to see it. Do the chainsaw guy here in Philadelphia. LA behind. They'll gas it up for you. And a third chop. Rockin' Rebel now whipping Myers out. No, wait a minute. Side Russian leg sweep on Hack Myers. Rebel with the cover. No, opts not to cover Hack Myers. I don't understand that. If you have the match won, just get it won. You don't get paid by the hour. You get paid for wins or losses. Let's get the job done. Well, the Rebel wanting to punish Hack Myers. These two had a falling out last month as they lost a match to the Bad Breed. And the Rebel turned on Hack Myers, attacked his tag team partner. And these two brought all the way back to the locker room. Well, there's the first chair shot of the evening. There will be many, many more to come as this is hardcore heaven. And tonight, Terry Funk will face Cactus Jack. Rebel shot in by Hack Myers, ducks the clothesline, and the Rebel hooks Hack Myers with a clothesline of his own cover. 1, 2, and no. 2 count only as Hack Myers kicks out. Hack Myers now stomping away on the Rockin' Rebel. Whipping in the Rebel, and runs through the Rebel with a double shot to the throat. And the fans are getting behind Hack Myers. It's Hackomania running wild here in the ECW arena. Shot in, but Hack Myers misses, and that is all. The Rebel now taking the advantage on Hack Myers. The tide has turned just like that. It happens that fast. The momentum shifts just like that. Rebel with a swift kick right in Hackmeyer's jaw. Rebel now with Hackmeyers. Not sure what to do with him, just pounding away. The Rebel just laying in on Hackmeyers, who he blames for last month's loss at the hands of the Bad Breed. In and out drop, short arm clothesline, floors Hackmeyers. There's a cover, and the Rebel opts not to cover Hackmeyers. He had the match won. Hackmeyers wasn't going to kick out. The Rebel had a victory within his grasp. Why would he let it go like that? The Rebel being a little bit too arrogant, I believe. Leapfrog by the Rebel, great agility, and another one going the other way. Rebel sets his head, sets it too soon as Hackmeyers throws down the Rockin' Rebel. Rebel now shot in by Hackmeyers. Rebel go behind, belly to back coming up. No, Hackmeyers adjust. 1, 2, 3, oh my! What an upset! Hackmeyers has pinned the Rockin' Rebel! Hackmeyers has pinned the Rockin' Rebel! Hope he didn't underestimate his opponent tonight, and you'll see why in a moment. On the Iron Man, and oh, he's in a world of trouble.
Hailing from Mystic Isle, New Jersey, please welcome Iron Man Tommy Cairo.
Tommy Cairo gets a big round of applause here from our great fans in South Philadelphia.
Evansville, Indiana, weighing in at 224 pounds, Chad Austin.
224. I believe Chad put a couple of dollars in Bob Ortiz's pocket. I don't think Chad weighs 224. Then again, I don't think he knows that Soloflex is one of our sponsors either, if you know what I mean. Well, Chad Austin, who has definitely become more vicious since coming under the tutelage of Jason to square off with Iron Man Tommy Cairo, and quite frankly, I don't like Chad's chances. The Iron Man is a powerhouse who I believe may run through Austin like the 515 into Market Square Station here in Philadelphia. Are you kidding me? I know one trial in Long Island he wasn't called as a witness for recently. Oh! And Iron Man Tommy Cairo just shoves off Chad Austin, who got good hang time. Looked like a Philadelphia Eagles punt. And the Iron Man just plants Chad Austin. And Chad is down, but not quite out. Now going up. Nicely executed textbook suplex by Tommy Cairo, who threw his legs out from under him as well to get the full force of that blow. Straight forearm. Beautiful belly to belly, and Chad Austin has no idea where he is. 1, 2, and no. Chad Austin manages to get a foot across the bottom rope. That will break up the count. Chad Austin whipped in. Oh my, and what elevation on that press slam by Iron Man Tommy Cairo, who I can tell you had no problem hoisting up Chad Austin. Cover, 1, 2, and no. Chad Austin had just a bit of strength left, managed to escape the fatal 3 count. Whip in, no, reversal by Austin. Leapfrog, he got caught. Reverse atomic drop, and Chad Austin's in pain. And Chad Austin does a 360 in midair. That is the power of Iron Man Tommy Cairo. Austin whipped in far side, Cairo off the rope, spinning kick. That connects with the point of the jaw of Chad Austin. Austin is down. Whip in on Chad Austin. Clothesline that catches Austin underneath the chin, and Chad Austin looks like a rag doll. He is done. The Iron Man could end this match at any time, I believe. Again, Austin is whipped in. Oh my! Chad Austin is dead. And the fans showing their appreciation. They like to see anyone get hurt. They'd hand Chad Austin a pair of knucks if he was talking to a nun. Chad Austin misses it. Oh my! He may have become a permanent part of this ring. No, the Iron Man, being a gentleman and a sportsman, helps him out. Chad Austin is now on the floor. The referee may want to stop this match. Oh no, we're in Philadelphia. I thought we were in Atlanta. I'm sorry. But this ain't Disney World. This is South Philadelphia and the ECW Arena. And that is a belly-to-back suplex, and Chad Austin is not moving. Luckily for Chad, though, the bottom rope is supporting his leg, which is pretty much lifeless. Chad is pretty much lifeless. Chad whipped in once again. Oh my, what a power slam. Emphasize the word power. Tommy Cairo signaling he's going up, which he doesn't do too often. Chad Austin is up on his feet, miraculously. Tommy Cairo! Tommy Cairo! Missed opportunity! Missed with the forward roll. And now it's Chad Austin going up to the second rope. Sunset flip. 1, 2, and no! So close. So close. We almost had another upset. Wait a minute. Chad got his foot on the ropes. Chad Austin had his feet on the top ropes. pretty much out. T-bone suplex, superfly splash. 1, 2, 3.
Your winners, Tasmania and Jimmy Superfly Snuka!
Well, that may be a new record.
Once again, your winner!
You know, something about a beautiful woman holding a stick. Never mind. The model of health and fitness. Wait a minute! Tommy Dreamer was under the ring! Oh my! He's got a cane! Tommy Dreamer has been under the ring all night! Well, woman took a shot at Dreamer, but the Sandman's been out of commission. He's got a cane, woman! Tommy, don't do it, you've got too much class! Whoa! Right now, I'm dreaming I was Tommy! Dreamer's gonna cane, woman! The Sandman's been busted open! Tommy Dreamer laid quite a trap for the Sandman. And Tommy Dreamer has caned our referee! And the Sandman again! Dreamer continues to cane the Sandman!
The referee has disqualified the Sandman! Your winner, correction, the referee disqualified Tommy Dreamer!
Well, Tommy Dreamer has been disqualified for his actions, just coming into the ring and using the cane. Dreamer has lost the matchup. No, Tommy, not Bob. Bob didn't make the decision, the referee made the decision. He's the announcer, he didn't do anything. Tommy, don't do it. No! Tommy Dreamer has caned our ring announcer Bob Ortiz, and he continues to work on the Sandman. Tommy Dreamer is caning our ring announcer. Why Bob Ortiz? Why not Michael Buffer? Why not Howard Finkel? And Tommy Dreamer has gone absolutely berserk. This is not the Tommy Dreamer we saw enter ECW a year ago. This is a changed man. Dreamer continues to cane the Sandman. Tommy Dreamer has become vicious. This is not the Tommy Dreamer that I have known for quite a few years. This is a different Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer is a changed man. And the Sandman's face is turning red with blood. Well, I don't believe Tommy Dreamer will ever be the same. And I know the Sandman won't be. First aid. What medical school did she go? It worked. All he needed was a breath of fresh air. I have never seen anything like that. Only in Philadelphia and Eastern Championship Wrestling. He seems to get stronger with every drag. I don't believe any of this. Check, please. The Sandman's still a little rubbery-legged because Tommy Dreamer pulled a fast one. Dreamer's been hiding under the ring for the last hour and a half. He really pulled a Pearl Harbor.
For a 10 count, the other team will get to use a baseball bat.
Baseball strike by
Number 2, only falls will count in the ring or anywhere in the building. At this time, I would like to introduce the challengers. From Newcastle, England, at a combined weight of 507 1/4 pounds, Ian and Axel Rotten, Bad Breed.
Ian and Axel Rotten, they've tasted the gold before. They are street fighters.
From South Central Los Angeles, weighing in at a combined weight of 487 pounds, they are the current ECW Tag Team Champions, Johnny Grunge, Flyboy Rocco Rock, Public Enemy!
You know, in the hoods all across this country, there are people watching this match on ECW home video. And I can tell you that if you watch Street Fighters, Grunge and Rock are the nastiest boys ever to hold a pair of tag team titles. I know another pair of boys who claim to be nasty, but they wouldn't dare set foot in Philadelphia because we would definitely sanction a jumper cable matchup. And that match has been demanded by the Bad Breed. So you bought a front row seat to ECW wrestling. You want to open your mouth to the Public Enemy? Better to lose your hat than your head. Speaking of head, I have a feeling when one of these teams gets to use a baseball bat, we're going to see some skulls bloodied.
One more scumbag in this arena calls me Jailbird. I'm not going to wrestle.
Jailbird! Jailbird! Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey, OJ! Hey, Jailbird! Let's hear it, Philly! Jailbird!
Well, the Public Enemy are leaving.
Come on, ladies! Let's finish that ass kicking we started in Montgomeryville. Bring your weak ass back.
They've got to defend the belt. They can't go anywhere. That won't stand. Well, referee Pee-wee has put the count on the Public Enemy. They're going to defend these belts like it or not. Well, here come Rock and Grunge. We are ready for the base brawl
You
matchup.
motherfucking rotten something right now! We're the Public Enemy, and we'll kick the living shit out of you!
Welcome to the ECW Arena. You won't find these matches on the Disney Channel, I can tell you that much. Well, we haven't even started yet. And Pee-wee is singing soprano. Well, there'll be no DQ because the bell hadn't rung. But Pee-wee's tiptoeing around the ring. Remember, if you knock your opponent out for a 10 count, you get to use a baseball bat. The Phillies may not be playing ball down the street at the vet, but we're going to play some ball here in the ECW arena. And speaking of ball, it takes a couple to promote a match like this. Hats off to Todd Gordon. The time for talk is done. Let's play a little base brawl. Whip in reversed by Ian Rotten, duck under by Rocco Rock. Moonsault, 1, 2, and just like that, this match is almost over. The Flyboy going up again. He earns his wings every night. Another moonsault. No cover, though. Rock drops the knee. And Rocco Rock is doing the Cabbage Patch. He's no doll, though. The Flyboy going up again. And Ian Rotten plants both feet into the solar plexus of Rocco Rock, who got just a bit too cocky and got rocked by Ian Rotten. Rock runs through Rotten. Up and over goes the Flyboy. And Rocco Rock winds up in the front row. Remember, falls count anywhere. What's this? Oh my! The Bad Breed are out to prove they are as hardcore as anybody in pro wrestling. Rocco Rock attempted to walk the high wire, and that was put to a stop. Johnny Grunge is fighting off both the challengers, but Rocco Rock is in pain. Axel Rotten going at it with Rocco Rock. Oh! And again! Talk about hoodies! The Bad Breed is no better. Oh! All four men assaulting one another. This is broken down into a street fight. Axel Rotten is fighting over both the champs. Ian Rotten now with Rocco Rock. Nice move by Ian Rotten, unconventional to say the least, but Rocco Rock tasted the steel. Who's gonna taste the baseball bats though? Johnny Grunge face first into the post. And Rocco Rock took the brunt of that chair with his face. Rocco Rock living up to his name as the Flyboy. Here he comes. Rocco Rock and Ian Rotten are letting it all hang out. The Bad Breed wants to take home the ECW Tag Team titles. Ian Rotten thrown back into the ring. Perhaps we can continue with this wrestling match. You know, a funny thing happened here at the ECW arena. I was watching a street fight and a title match broke out. Go figure. Well, things have settled down once again. We resume this tag team title match. It is a base brawl mashup. The winners will use a baseball bat on the fallen losers, in addition to taking home the ECW Tag Team title belts. Axel Rotten checks in, locks up with Flyboy Rocco Rock. Rotten tied up in a corner by Rock. Whipped out, reversed by Axel. Oh! Rocco Rock went in hard. And Axel Rotten makes the fatal mistake of taunting the Flyboy, and in comes Johnny Grunge. But Johnny Grunge has been busted open already. The back of his head.
2.
Axel Rotten was down for a 2 count. Remember, if you're counted out for 10, the baseball bats will come out. Rolling neck snap by Johnny Grunge. Tag back into Flyboy Rocco Rock. Public Enemy's in charge. Beautiful teamwork by the tag team champs. 1, 2, and no. 2 count only. Axel Rotten finds the back door. Reversal on the Irish whip. Rotten ducks his head. Sunset flip attempt. Blocked. Axel makes the tag into Little Brother Ian. Little Brother weighs a mere 285. Rocco Rock shot in and hard. Here comes Ian Rotten. Ian Rotten lands a drop kick. Nowhere for Rocco Rock to go. Reversal by the Flyboy. Little impromptu offense. And an old favorite here in Philadelphia. Tag in to Johnny Grunge. Oh my! Beautiful teamwork. That should be all.
1, 2,
3, 4, 5,
6.
6 count only, broken up by Johnny Grunge. 4 counts away from seeing those baseball bats used. Ian Rotten ducks the clothesline, ducks another, tags into Axel. Nice agility shown by Axel. You want a street fight? Let's street fight. Axel Rotten taking it to the streets. Ian Rotten's got a chair. Oh! Irish whip into a chair. And the Bad Breed wants those tag team belts. Axel Rotten, wait a minute. Here comes the British invasion. Rocco Rock came down on his head.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
8, 9, 10. The Bad Breed has just earned the rights to use those bets. Oh! Oh! Well, they may not have won the belts with a pinfall victory, but they got the knockouts, and they have earned the right to use that bet. And have they ever?
This match is not over.
Wait a minute. The matchup is not over.
There must be a pin for the match to end.
I have misunderstood. The bat is now in play. This match must end via pinfall. But it will continue with the baseball bat in play. Johnny Grunge going to the top with that bat. And he just connected. Meanwhile, Flyboy Rocco Rock has gone to the high ground. continues to amaze me here in Eastern Championship Wrestling. But this is home sweet home. Grunge continuing to brawl on the far side. Remember, pinfalls count anywhere in the building. Rocco Rock and Ian Rotten are right in front of the broadcast position. Try to restore some order here in the ECW arena. Are we on? Are we on? Hello? I guess we still are. Flyboy Rocco Rock using the wooden steps as a weapon. And a chair. This match being contested in typical ECW fashion. Falls count anywhere. The baseball bat has come into play. Public Enemy battling off the Bad Breed. The ECW Tag Team title hangs in the balance. Axel Rotten's been busted wide open. I believe we're going to see the 911. Pardon me, the drive-by. There's the tag. There's the Cabbage Patch. There's the drive-by. 1, 2, and 3.
Wrestling fans, your winners, and still ECW Tag Team Champions, Flyboy Rocco Rock, Johnny Grunge, Public Enemy.
The Public Enemy is walking tall. I don't think there's a team in professional wrestling today that can stand up to Flyboy, Rocco Rock, and Johnny Grunge. Pretty wonderful would be pretty stupid to get in the way of these two guys. This should be an outstanding matchup. But can Sabu ground the high-flying Too Cold Scorpio? That remains to be seen. Remember, Paulie Dangerously and 911 Hour at ringside. And they could be a factor in this matchup. Collar and elbow tie up now. Two men jockeying for position. Sabu is backed into the corner by Too Cold Scorpio. Referee John Finnegan getting right in the middle. Sabu takes full advantage, and Too Cold won't stand for any of that. Too Cold Scorpio is probably the best all-around athlete competing in the sport of professional wrestling today. But Sabu is a madman. Snapmare by Scorpio. Scorpio trying to figure out Sabu, basically. Trying to wear down Sabu, working on that arm. Pinning. 1, 2, and 0. Pinning combination, nicely done by Scorpio. Scorpio doing what nobody else to date has attempted, trying to wrestle Sabu. Too Cold Scorpio so light on his feet. Almost dances on air. The two lock up once again. Single leg takedown by Sabu. And a couple of stomps to the head. Sabu will not attempt to wrestle Scorpio. Scoop and a slam. Sabu misses the slingshot leg drop. Not even close, as Scorpio just too fast for him. Sabu has never faced anyone with the quickness of Too Cold Scorpio, and these two have met before here at ECW. But never in a matchup of this magnitude. This is hardcore heaven. Scorpio shot off, runs through Sabu. Up and over goes Scorpio. Leapfrog by Sabu. Scorpio, nice move, and a standing drop kick. And I have never seen anyone manhandle Sabu this way. Scorpio is a human highlight reel. Too Cold Scorpio making it look easy. Scorpio and Sabu now unloading on one another with straight right hands. ECW style. What the hell was that? Sabu tried a sunset flip. Scorpio held on. Sabu tumbled to the concrete. Over the top of the plancha, pulling out Sabu as he lands. You know, if Scorpio gets past Sabu, I would have to think he'd be a contender for Douglas's title. Oh my. 1, 2, and beautiful slingshot splash by Too Cold Scorpio. Well, he moves with such fluidity. He really is poetry in motion. Submission maneuver. Couldn't hold it though. I think he thought better of it. Sabu will never submit. The guy has had his back broken and liked it. All Sabu understands is victory. Pile driver coming up. Yes! Scorpio connects with the pile driver on Sabu. Scorpio scooping up Sabu, slamming. I am speechless. Two Code Scorpio with a 1.5 into a leg drop. That's a first for that move. This is ECW wrestling not only for the new generation, but for the next generation as well. Scorpio with great elevation, but met Sabu's knees. One, two, and Sabu with the slingshot backflip into a splash. And vaults into a leg drop. 1, 2. This may be the greatest athletically contested matchup I've seen in years. I defy any other promotion to match this. Paulie dangerously trying to rally the support for Sabu. What a feather in the cap of Sabu it would be to defeat Two Code Scorpio here at Hardcore Heaven. The greatest night of ECW wrestling to date. And that's no small accomplishment, I can tell you. Reverse victory roll. Scorpio, out of instinct alone, manages to get to his knees, getting his back off of the mat, mark of a great amateur wrestler. Scorpio going for another pile driver. Will he connect? No! Powerbomb by Two Code Scorpio. Cover. 2 and no. 2.5, 2 3/4. Just inches away. Scorpio going toe-to-toe with Sabu. Here he comes. Scorpio misses the flying forearm. Sabu wisely ducks. Scorpio winds up on the floor. Distracting the ref. Sabu has set up a chair. And another first, as I have never seen that. I wouldn't know what to call it. Sort of an enziguri, using the chair as a diving board, or springboard, if you will. Sabu and Two Code Scorpio will do anything it takes to get a victory here at Hardcore Heaven. Hardcore you want, hardcore you'll get. Sabu setting up a table. I can only imagine what for. Scorpio blocks it. Sabu with the low place shoulder block. Oh my! Sabu launched himself through the ropes into Scorpio and the table. Only in ECW and nowhere else. Sabu rolls in and out to break up the 10 count. What 10 count? What are you kidding me? Matches don't end in countouts here in Philadelphia. Scorpio and Sabu battling on the outside. And Scorpio is sent flying over the guardrail into the first row. Well, Scorpio answering the challenge of Sabu. Proving to these fans here in Philadelphia that he's as hardcore as they come. What a welcome addition he is to Eastern Championship Wrestling. We're proud to have him here. He said he was looking for the greatest competition in the world. He found it, and then some. Comes Sabu. I don't know what to say. I hope the paramedics are standing by. Scorpio's got a chair. Sabu may have knocked himself cold. Comes the chair, Sabu and Scorpio. Scorpio setting up the chair. Not a tombstone pile driver on the chair. No way. Sabu reverses it. Oh my. He who lives by the chair dies by the chair. Scorpio, the victim of a reverse tombstone pile driver. Well, Too Cold Scorpio's out cold, but his foot is draped across the bottom rope, breaking up the 3 count. Sabu going to the top. Sabu misses the moonsault. Sabu misses the moonsault. Too Cold Scorpio miraculously back to his feet. What's he got in mind? Textbook belly to back suplex. Positioning Sabu. Inches away. Scorpio with the 1.5 gainer. Now going. Not yet, he says. Not yet. Scorpio setting up Sabu, going to the top. Oh my God! Just a breath away from a 3 count. I don't even know what to call that. The Scorpio special. Paulie looks on in disbelief. He doesn't know what to make of this guy, and he has seen it all. He has managed them all. Scorpio with unbelievable elevation, but misses the moonsault. Scorpio cinching up Sabu. Could he be setting up Sabu for a superplex? It appears that way. Sabu shoves off Scorpio. Shoulder block by Sabu. Both men pulling out all the stops in a quest for the big victory here in Hardcore Heaven. The hardest core night of wrestling in the history of Eastern Championship Wrestling, and we have done it all over the past year. And Scorpio is pile driven on the concrete floor. Referee John Finnegan sees none of it because Paulie is distracting him. Wait a minute. 911 has helped Sabu position Too Cold Scorpio, who is lying helpless and helpless on a table at ringside. Did you say that? Sabu goes crashing through Scorpio on the table. Oh, God. I doubt that either man can continue. Well, Paulie rolls... Well, 911 has rolled both men back into the ring. Who's going to go for the cover in the Duke? How Scorpio escaped that, I will never know. He knows the money's on the line, the prestige. It's about pride, it's about respect. This is Hardcore Heaven. Scorpio and Sabu going toe-to-toe. Or knee-to-knee. Sabu spikes by the Scorpio DDT, who does it like nobody else can. Scorpio attempts to tie up Sabu, but Sabu manages to escape. And out of nowhere, Sabu manages to floor Scorpio. Oh my!
Wrestling fans, your winner, Sabu!
Well, Scorpio had Sabu figured out, but he had not counted on the interference of 911 and Paulie dangerously. And that leg drop, combined with the force of a steel chair, was too much for even the great Too Cold Scorpio to sustain. Well, there's a man who really enjoys his profession. The guy's 5 minutes away from banging heads with Cactus Jack, and he's smiling.
please welcome the living legend, Terry Funk! His opponent, from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, weighing in at 277 pounds, this is Cactus Jack!
The waiting is over. The time for talk is done. It's time for action.
You know something, Terry?
Wait a minute.
I've been sitting back there watching, and I think we both agree there's been far too much violence already. Terry, I've recently learned to appreciate the value of family entertainment.
Are you
I
kidding
think
me?
I know these people in Philadelphia pretty well, and what they want and what they need right now is one hell of a scientific match.
I don't think so.
And by golly, Terry, I think we're the two guys to give it to them.
So we're gonna see a scientific matchup between Cactus Jack and Terry Funk.
You know what, Terry? You and I, we wrestled in Japan in a tag team. We wrestled in Florida in a tag team. But tonight, thanks to ECW, the first time we ever stood toe-to-toe the way it's supposed to be. And I got a lot of respect for you, and it's gonna hurt me to have to kick your ass all over the ECW arena.
Whoa! The gauntlet has been dropped.
But not as bad as it's gonna hurt you! Bang, bang!
You know, that's what I love about Cactus. He's always been a dreamer, hasn't he?
And I have a gut feeling we are about to see a classic wrestling matchup. And despite the fact that there is no personal animosity between these two wrestlers, you can bet they'll pull out all the stops to get the victory and see who is the hardest of the hardcores. These two could chainsaw each other and shake hands. I heard a woo. Is it Senior Citizens Night here at the ECW Arena? And Cactus lays into Terry Funk just to get his attention. And he has. He likes it. The Funker likes it. Cactus Jack thrown on the outside. Terry Funk goes right out after him. And Funk is using what's left of a table to assault Cactus Jack. Face first goes Cactus Jack into the steel guardrail. Funk has asked the fans to part the ways, and they have. Because we are witnessing a battle of biblical proportion. And if Moses can part the ways, so can Terry Funk. Hell, did Moses ever wrestle in Philly? I don't think so. Moses to a moonsault now. Terry Funk is God in Philly. While our camera's following the action into one of the far corners of the arena, Funk and Cactus, this is the scientific matchup we were told they were going to have. They are scientifically beating the hell out of one another. Sleeper by Terry Funk. Cactus drops down to break the hold. Cactus Jack launched himself into Terry Funk. Oh! You wanted hardcore, you got it. And if heaven ain't a lot like Philadelphia, I don't think anyone in this building wants to go. Irish whipping on Terry Funk. Funk hits hard. Face first goes Terry Funk into the canvas. Jack now with Funk. Oh no. Here it comes. No! This is how Cactus Jack lost an ear. Cactus Jack lost an ear just this way. He may be dead before this matchup is over. Well, thankfully, Cactus Jack manages to escape with 1.5 ears. Funk and Cactus going toe-to-toe at ringside. This is scientific wrestling at its best. Not. And Cactus goes face first into the steel support. And again. Funk rolls Cactus back into the ring. Wait a minute, here comes the Public Enemy. The Public Enemy is assaulting Terry Funk. What the hell are they doing out here? We had a great hardcore matchup. We were making hardcore history. I don't understand this at all. Rock and Grunge are in the ring with Funk. Cactus Jack has been busted wide open. DDT on Terry Funk. Cactus Jack. They're trying to get Jack to cover Funk. But Jack doesn't want to cover Funk. I don't understand this. Well, there goes the ref. So much for Jim Molyneux. Well, now Terry Funk has been laid out. Once again, they're trying to get Cactus to cover him. What was that? We've got no decision. Well, Jack refusing to have his hands raised in victory by the Public Enemy. They just beat the hell out of him, too. Terry Funk just being assaulted by the Public Enemy. I don't understand any of this. None of this makes sense. Funk and Cactus Jack are going berserk. And they're looking for the public enemy. Cactus Jack and Terry Funk are looking for Flyboy Rocco Rock and Johnny Grunge. This has been Hardcore Heaven. Thanks for joining us exclusively on ECW Home Video. We'll see you next time. Are we off? That's all. All right, that's a wrap, fellas. That's a keeper. No, wait a minute. Are we still rolling? Are we still rolling? Cactus Jack has found Johnny Grunge. And here comes Terry Funk after Rocco Rock. We've got an impromptu matchup. Looks like Funk and Jack versus ECW Tag Team Champs. Rocco Rock is thrown into the first row. Terry Funk using a flying pan. Funk just chasing Rock with that frying pan. Terry Funk has two frying pans. It's like watching a bad cartoon. Terry Funk's gonna try to pile drive Rock on the frying pan. Well, Cactus Jack and Terry Funk have made a statement, and I believe they've made two enemies for life. Oh my God.
Please do not throw chairs into the ring. Stop the chairs. Stop the chairs. Do not throw chairs into the ring.
Talk about hardcore. I've got nothing left to say. This has been Hardcore Heaven and a night of wrestling as only Eastern Championship Wrestling can do it. Fans, we thank you so much for joining us. This is Joey Styles signing off from ringside in the ECW Arena. We'll see you next time.